Hey y'all, I am CicelyRenee and I'm so excited that you are here on this channel. We do all things living your best godly life, and one of my favorite things to do is Bible study. I love diving into the word and I love sharing, things that really stood out to me in efforts to, encouraging you on your walk with Christ. And so, if you have been following me, I have been going through the Bible in 52 weeks, and this is week 44. And I cannot believe that I'm almost done reading the entire Bible, y'all. And of course, there are some days where I just have to listen to it, but there are days where I really dive deep, and that is when I found the most transformation and, revelation and, like really getting into the word. It's awesome, you guys. And so today we're going to be doing a Bible study. We're going to be going through the book of Hosea. And if you are interested in joining us, I'll put the link below. We will be starting a new plan June 1st, and we have a group. We have, women who are in there who are reading, who are being inspired, they're sharing information. And so if you're looking for a community, definitely hit the link below and register. So we'll be starting June 1st, okay? June 1st. And I'm so excited. And my prayer the past week, I was just like, God, keep that same energy, if not more, to go and continue reading the Bible daily. Sometimes when you read something over and over, it kind of it gets boring. But I'm like, it's a living word. Every time you read it, something changes. You get a new revelation and things change, where you're at on your walk, right? Like maybe you read Genesis in January, and now you're gonna read Genesis 3 years later on, in the month of March or something like that. And your seasons have changed, your perspective, your lived experiences. And so, you see it in a different way, and God is speaking to you in a different way. So I'm just hoping and praying that I don't try and skim through it because I've already read it thinking I know everything. And I'm like, not at all, not at all. That is a lie. Anyway, so I definitely have been getting a lot out of this experience, and I would love for you guys to join as well. All right. So we are going to read Hosea 1, and I'm reading in the CSB version. So go ahead and grab your Bibles, or get your phone and turn. I would you can follow along in this translation or whatever translation you would like. Okay. So Hosea 1, we know Hosea is a prophet. And his ministry began, it was between 760 to 720 BC, which is 250 years after King David, and then 650 years after the Promised Land. So there has been a long time since, the wilderness, right? They, what is that? So 650 years, that's a long time. They're far removed from the promised land. And although God is like, remember, sending people, they got the books, they have, they still forget, right? And it's heartbreaking. However, it's reflective of, us today, because I'm like, I will be frustrated about something that I've already been through. And then I'm like, oh, wait, God, you already brought me through this, so you can bring me through it again. And so it's just, understanding the plight of, the Israelites, and knowing that they were the first ones to go through this without really having a manual like we do. And now we have so much access to so many other things. And so I know I could be like, dang, why y'all messing up again? What's going on? But then I'm like, I do the same thing, right? I do the same thing. All right, so let's go ahead and start reading. Chapter 1. The word of the Lord that came to Hosea, son of Beeri, during the reigns of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Judah, and Jeroboam, son of Jehoash, king of Israel. Okay, verse 2. When the Lord first spoke to Hosea, he said this to him: Go and marry a woman of promiscuity and have children of promiscuity. Did you catch that? Okay, I'm gonna keep reading. For the land is committing blatant acts of promiscuity by abandoning the Lord. So before we go on, I'm just like, God will have you doing some wild and crazy things that, we think it's wild and crazy, but God is like, I have a plan, so don't even worry, don't even trip, and I'm just like, man. So we don't know if she was already in promiscuity or she will become in promiscuity, but eventually she will, right? She will be, a harlot or out there in those streets. But anyway, so it's comparison. Like he's having Hosea live this experience as a reflection of what's happening with Israel and their God, right? So it says, for the land is committing blatant acts of promiscuity by abandoning their Lord. And so throughout the whole Bible, God is comparing his people to his bride. And so when you think about that, if you get married to someone, when you have that covenant, you are not supposed to back out of that covenant or do anything to harm that covenant, right? So, like, if you are really getting married, you are not supposed to be out there living and enjoying other people, right? Okay, let's keep reading. All right, verse 3. So he went and married Gomer, daughter of Diblaim, and she conceived and bore him a son. Then the Lord said to him, name him Jezreel, for in a little while I will bring the bloodshed of Jezreel on the house of Jehu, and put an end to the kingdom of the house of Israel. On that day I will break the bow of Israel in the valley of Jezreel. So Jezreel means that they're scattered, right? So they are all over the place. God did not give him a name that, was a loving name. And one thing we know about the Bible is that God likes to use, names mean something. It's a message. People live up to their names, right? And so we do want to be careful with what we name our kids, right? And so we'll continue reading. um, and verse 6, she conceived again and gave birth to a daughter, and the Lord said to him, name her Lo Ruhamah, which means no mercy. Like, you gonna be walking around here, you ain't getting no mercy. No mercy. Messing up. Not her fault. Maybe it is her fault. No mercy. That would be poor baby. No. For I will no longer have compassion on the house of Israel. I will certainly take them away, but I will have compassion on the house of Judah, and I will deliver them by the Lord their God. I will not deliver them by bow, sword, or war, or by horses and cavalry. So they are in two different kingdoms. So we got Israel and we have Judah, right? So they have divided themselves up. So Israel is doing the most. They are just their promiscuity, their idolatry, their pride. They just have a lot of sins that are just like abhorrent to our God. Like, this is just so bad. And then Judah, though, I find out that they are still sinners, but they're not sinning as bad. But a sin is a sin. But God is like, okay, Judah, I'm gonna keep you, Israel, I'm letting you go. Like, you doing the most. And but Judah, like, just don't get too excited, because you still gonna get your judgment too. Um, and then so let's go ahead and keep reading verse 8. After Gomer had weaned Lo Ruhamah, she conceived and gave birth to a son. Then the Lord said, name him Lo Ami, for you are not my people, and I will not be your God. I'm like, you are not my person. Like, they be like, Mama, Daddy, no, you are not my person. Imagine that message that is being sent all the time whenever they call that name. Okay. And so this is a reminder that you guys pushed away, your God. So you're not my people. Like, I'm going to remind you of what you did and why I am putting my hand in front of y'all, and y'all ain't coming anywhere closer. But it's just wild. I just like, poor little, like, I just, and of course I'm just like, oh, poor child, because they didn't ask for this. But, and it's just symbolic of the Israelites. And so there he's saying that this is what you guys did. I'm letting you know, and now you're going to have a punishment. Anyway, so we're going to keep reading. Um, verse 10, yet the number of the Israelites will be like the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured or counted. And in the place where they were told, you are not my people, they will be called sons of the living God. So they will have a judgment, they will have punishment, but it will not be forever. There is restoration, there is redemption, there is hope for a future. And so that's awesome. That is the good news. And I'm just like, all right, all right, all right. Verse 11, and the Judeans and the Israelites will be gathered together. They will appoint for themselves a single ruler and go up from the land, for the day of Jezreel will be great. Okay. And then I'm going to continue chapter 2, verse 1. Call your brothers, my people, and your sisters compassion. So there is that redemption, right? So the story starts off from judgment, and now you will be redeemed. One thing that really stood out to me was that Hosea was really obedient. And I can never put my feet in his shoes, and just understand what he went through. But I'm just thinking, I'm like, okay, first of all, that can be very, what's the word, humiliating, right? So you, Hosea, a upstanding man who is, and he is actually like representative of who God is, right? So we'll see in the next few chapters, how God is there. He's loyal, he loves her, and he doesn't care. I mean, he cares, but he's going to keep coming back. And even though that looks like humiliating or makes Hosea look dumb for continuing to be with this adulterous woman who keeps going out there in the streets and having many husbands or boyfriends, or just doing what she shouldn't be doing. But we see Hosea goes back eventually. So if you haven't read Hosea before, just I gave you a little a sneak peek. He will be going back to go get her. All right. So that is chapter 1. I want to know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Anything that stood out to you. I just am excited that there is hope. You know, if we didn't believe in God, then there's no reason to have hope, right? And so I am just grateful that we have, his word where he's teaching us and he's showing us, and he's like, this is, there's hope for the future. There's going to be a new Jerusalem, a millennial kingdom there. God is there. He's always there. And so it's just a beautiful picture. And I'm just like, all right, let's do this. All right, let me know again in the comments below. Peace and blessings.